Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. If you love gold and silver and want to express your passion comfortably and fashionably, check out my merch store, link in the description. Here's a glimpse. With that said, let's jump into the video. So, before we jump into this extremely controversial topic, I want to give a disclaimer so we're on the same page. This video's purpose is to talk about $100 silver, the reality, the possibility, and the time frame it could happen in, given the circumstances, right? Because not even 10 years ago, silver was $50 in 2011. The stars are starting to align. The perfect storm is here, and prices could definitely expand higher. But what would it take to get to $100? And how long would it take? That's what we're going to be looking at in today's video. I'm not saying silver is going to be $100 tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. It's going to take a long time. If anyone is telling you that silver is going to explode overnight, they're a silver pumper. They're giving you false information. They're misleading you. And that's extremely dangerous, especially for newcomers into the world of precious metals, because they have false expectations, false hope, and it could definitely push away and become very unattractive. And that's not what we want. We want everyone to be successful, and the end goal is financial freedom, right? So I hope we're all on the same page now, because a lot can happen in 10 years. A lot can happen. That's almost 3-term presidencies, right? If we're talking about the possibility of silver, it's endless. Silver's true value is honestly unknown. Anytime we're basing the value of silver, we're going, when we're talking about the base value of silver, whether it's $20, whether it's $40, we're basing it off of a period in time, a moment in time, and what's happening in the economy during that period in time. In 2011, when silver was $50, what was happening? Well, it all started from the 2008 credit crisis, the financial crisis, billion-dollar stimulus packages, right? Recession/depression. It almost mimics what is happening today. But today, we're on a much larger scale, plus a global pandemic, plus U.S.-China trade negotiations, plus we have a new president, a very controversial president, right? There's a lot of things happening today that magnify it 10 times more than 2008 through 2011, which led silver to $50. So why couldn't it expand farther beyond that in today's time? If you want to talk about crazy prices, well, we're living in crazy times. I don't want to put on the facade that I know silver is going to be $100 in 5 or 10 years. I'm looking at the statistics, the facts, the history, the patterns, and I'm trying to mold everything together. If I've came up with a formula, so I've came up with this formula, right? Trying to make the most accurate, educated guess I can, and what tools it takes to do that. So I really like the idea that silver is intrinsical and it solely runs off of supply and demand, but I know that's not the case. I know there's manipulation behind the scenes. I know it's in a bubble. Realistically, it is to some extent. How much pull does that bubble have on the prices? Who knows? But it is in a bubble to some extent. So supply and demand should be the most influential factor for prices to rise or fall, right? How much is being produced, how many people are trying to buy it, how many people are trying to sell it, right? Well, we have more speculation in the markets nowadays, so I have to add in a third-party speculative perception into the price nowadays. It should be a little bit of analytical chart reading, right? Looking at the patterns, looking at the triangle formations, looking at the resistance points, the support lines, what it looks like it's going to be doing based off of the last couple months, basing that off of the 2008 through 2011 crisis, basing off, factoring off the dollar index, how much inflation we're rising, or it's all intertwined. So I'm going to try to do my best to put it down in a 10-year time frame and give the perfect scenario to silver hitting $100. Now, it obviously can go many different ways, and I think the most difficult factor is the unknown variable. We don't have a crystal ball to see in the future what happens in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Just like last year, all the silver price forecasts, price predictions were extremely off because nobody knew we were going to have a global pandemic on our hands. So all the price predictions from last year are way off. See, I still knew that 2020 was going to be a big year, not from the global pandemic, right? I'm not a psychic, but I knew the 2020 presidential election was going to be the icing on the cake, right? Back last year, we still had the U.S.-China trade negotiation stuff. It was still very murky. I saw the dollar and the rate, it was dropping, but I knew that the presidential election was going to be big. How big? Now it's only adding more fuel to the fire, and it really could be that last match strike to put everything up in flames, because we're on the breaking edge right now. We're at a breakthrough point. If silver starts to break through again, gold already has. If it starts to catch up to gold even a little bit, it's rapid fire. Extremely low supply, silver shortages, and we have these Robinhood investors, millennials, money coming in from all angles, not only from individual investors, but from big business corporations with 5G technology, right? Electric vehicles, solar panels. So all angles is getting flooded with money. Everyone's trying to get a piece of the silver pie, but we also have this shortage on our hands. So the perfect scenario, and by the way, in the comments, let me know what you think silver prices will be in the next 10 years, right? Let me know in the next 10 years where you think silver prices will be, or even 5 years, right? Are you bullish, or do you think it's going to be more reserved? Because precious metals it's a more gradual appreciating investment. If you're in this investment, this market, to make a quick buck, then you're definitely looking in the wrong direction. That's more for stocks, right? Buy some Tesla stock, something like that. Bitcoin maybe. Precious metals is more of a preservation of wealth, hedging against inflation. You're transferring your money into something that holds its value while the dollar loses its value. If you have $10,000 in your bank account and put another $10,000 in precious metals, so let's say you invest $20,000 total, 10 in your bank, 10 in precious metals. In 20 years from now, the $10,000 in your bank will have drastically decreased in what you can buy with it, right? Just like 20 years ago, $10,000 was a lot of money. In 10 years from now, it won't be much money because the dollar's purchasing power is going to literal zero. See, the $10,000 you invest into gold and silver not only will have held its value, because gold and silver has been valuable for 5,000 years since the beginning of man, not only will it hold its value, like putting your money in a time capsule, but the coins will also most likely appreciate in value, especially if you have some kookaburras, pandas. Even when it comes down to Morgans or junk silver, they can still gain some type of premium. So you're looking at a much smarter, more opportunistic potential investment there. Can you see now why it's not like we can compare this to stocks? Can you see where I'm headed with this? See, gold and silver is the only thing that's real money in this world. Money is something that cannot be created nor destroyed. Stock markets can be created and destroyed. Bitcoin can be created and destroyed. Real estate, the housing market, can be created and destroyed. It's not real value. It's not intrinsic. If If the dollar fails, stock markets go with it, right? The banks want you to invest into stocks. That's why they push it. That's why it's so mainstream. It's the thing to do. You know, white picket fence house, invest in the stock market millionaire, whatever. They're gonna push that along with you. They're not gonna talk about precious metals because it threatens the dollar. If people are taking their money out of, taking it out of fiat currency and putting it into gold and silver, you've taken the power away from them. You yourself are in complete control of your money. They don't want that. They want to control you. If you are in debt, you're a slave to the system. It's a power move. Gold and silver will free you from that. But I must say this though. I must say this before you jump into precious metals, you gotta have some money invested in your bank. Money, fiat currency, is the most liquid asset. You need to still be able to buy food, water, shelter, right? You can't pay your rent. You can't buy a gallon of gas with an American Silver Eagle. I mean, you could, but you get what I'm saying, right? You still have to be relevant and rational. But when you are getting to that point where you feel like you have a cushion, of money in your bank account, start diversifying in your portfolio. It could be from gold to silver. It could be just silver within silver, maybe buying some bullion, maybe some high premium stuff. Whatever the case is, just start doing it. Because the longer you procrastinate, the higher the price is going to keep getting, and then you might miss the boat. I actually made a video yesterday talking about if it's too late to invest in the silver. The video is doing really well, actually. It's a really good topic because who knows when the right entry and exit point is going to be. It's all speculative, right? Because it's an ongoing chart. I hope this video made sense. I hope you are able to now see the true potential, the true reality in a 5 to 10 year time frame, because a lot can happen, and it could be even beyond $100. If we want to talk about potential, the gold to silver ratio being 72 to 1, but the actual ratio is around 8 to 1. Silver still has a lot of catching up to do, especially if people are saying the ratio is going to lower, which it should, right? Historically, it's around 50 to 1, which is still high. But I think it can go a lot lower than 72, meaning silver is going to outperform gold by tenfold. How much higher? Nobody knows, but since silver is a smaller market, it's more volatile, means it hits higher highs. It's like gold on steroids. So if gold just broke through its all-time high and silver is more explosive, and it still hasn't happened yet, but everything is aligning, the stars are aligning, the perfect storm is here, then who knows how explosive that can be? Who knows where that price can truly go? Nothing in the entire history has been this extreme and severe. It's literally gasoline to a fire right now. If we could go 20 years in the future and look back on today's times with knowing everything that's happening in the economy right now with the global pandemic, with everything going on, we would say, why didn't we buy silver at $30? It was blatantly obvious that it was going to explode. See, in the future, when we look back during this period of time, it's going to be obvious. During this time, since we're in it right now, we're in this moment, we second guess ourselves. You got to have faith. You got to see the bigger picture. You got to step out of that fear, because that's all been planted inside of you. You see it. You see the potential. The signs are blatantly obvious. Precious metals is the way to go if you want to live financially free. Preserve your money in gold and silver as the dollar crashes and as the system will fail, right? It's going to fail. It always has. It always will. It's designed to fail. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least as entertaining, make sure to smash that like button. Also, before I go, check out my merch. Not only do I have the shirt that I displayed in the beginning of the video, I also have other stuff. If you want to express your love for precious metals and look fashionable doing it, go check out that link in the description. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.